Chop those off before school tomorrow, or I will come around. But! Did you say but?
I catch dreams.
Sorry about that.
Avoid writing a police description. It's important that the reader can always picture what the character looks like. An image should appear in their mind. When writing character descriptions, it's all about balance. There is so much you could say about someone's appearance. But if you try to describe it all, you'll slow the story down and overwhelm the reader with too much information. Here's an example of a character description that has too much information. Victoria stood at the edge of the ballroom, her green dress sparkling under the chandeliers, catching the light with every move. The fabric was the finest silk, brought all the way from Italy, with lace patterns stitched along the top. A satin ribbon, the colour of dark green moss, was tied tightly around her waist. Her golden curls were styled up, with shiny pearl hairpins tucked in. Her hazel eyes, flecked with gold, were framed by dark lashes. Around her... No. This is too much. I just want to read what happens next in the story. Victoria stood at the edge of the ballroom, wearing a green dress. She had blonde hair and hazel eyes. There's nothing here. It's given me no sense of who the character is. It certainly hasn't brought her to life. So, when writing a character description, you need to get the balance between giving too much information and not giving enough information. To help you get this balance right, I'm going to give you one don't and one do. Don't write a police description. This is when it feels like you're going through a list of details to include and are ticking them off one at a time. Hagrid is about 60 years old and over 8 feet tall. He is a heavy man weighing around 500 pounds. Hagrid has long, unkempt black hair and a thick beard. His eyes are brown. He wears a long, shabby coat and trousers along with a belt. On his feet, he has heavy boots. This type of character description is boring to read. It feels like the character is disconnected from their setting. It also does nothing to spark interest in that character. So that's what you don't do. Here's what you should do. Choose 2 or 3 things that make the character unique. You're aiming to make the person interesting and memorable. For me, 3 unique features of Hagrid is his size, his bushy beard, and his kindness. He's a gentle giant. Hagrid is a giant of a man, standing nearly 8 feet tall with broad shoulders that make it hard for him to squeeze through regular-sized doors. His wild, messy black hair and thick bushy beard give him a rugged look, but his warm brown eyes shine with kindness, showing that there's a gentle heart behind his tough appearance. Now on to Miss Trunchbull. 3 of her unique features are her size, her strength, and her meanness. Miss Trunchbull was built like a tank. Tall, broad, and unbelievably strong. Her thick arms looked like they could bend steel. She had a fiery temper that flared up at the smallest mistake. And when she yelled, you had to duck to avoid the spit flying from her mouth. Just being in the same room as her felt dangerous. And finally, the big friendly giant. We'll describe his wonderful ears, the strange way he speaks, and his kind heart. While the BFG was enormous, it was his ears that stood out the most. Huge floppy things that could hear even the quietest whispers. His way of speaking was delightfully odd, with words tumbling out in the most unexpected order, like a jumbled-up dictionary. Despite his towering size, his heart was as warm as a cosy fire. So, when describing what your character looks like, you have learned one don't and one do. Don't write a police description. Instead, choose 2 or 3 unique features of your character and describe them. This will help the character to become memorable and interesting. It will also stop you from overwhelming the reader with too much information. Thanks for watching. If you found this tutorial useful, please help my YouTube channel to grow by liking and subscribing. And if you leave a comment, I promise to reply. Finally, if you want some more character description tips, take a look at another of the tutorials I've done in this series. This one, for example. It'll take your story writing to the next level.